we're gonna look. Remember, see those two little eyes? And so this is Egan, and she's gonna ask you mommy some questions, and she's gonna ask you some questions too. Okay? He's on like a video. All right.
So, can you say your name and your age? You're 3.
And you're 3. This is Piper Gray, and you're 3.
And where do you live?
On that side.
You live on that side. Yes. I'm Brittany. I'm Piper's mom, and we live in Picton, Prince Edward County.
So, can you tell us how the pandemic affected learning and literacy negatively?
Well, Piper was 3 months old when the pandemic hit, and I was a first-time mom, so it was certainly an eye-opener as not ending up with the programming that I thought that I was going to be able to access. I think when you you're becoming a new mom, you're thinking about all the drop-in centers and the family space and all these opportunities for your child to receive social time, but also for you to be able to connect with other moms and other families and other children your child's age. And there's a big learning curve that comes with being a new mom, and you're sort of looking for those supports. So that was probably the hardest part, was realizing, was realizing that we weren't going to be able to access some of those. You all done?
And something positive that came out of the pandemic for you or your family?
We were extremely lucky to live in a fairly small community, surrounded by other first-time parents who also had children that were all born in the same year. So we were all experiencing it together, and we were very lucky that we had one another and a community that was very safe for our children to be able to gather and not feel, all the stresses of the pandemics. We could do a lot of outdoor play, so a lot of our learning came in our sort of little social island bubble, I guess. And we were very lucky in that respect.
Nice.
And so we sort of had to improvise and make our own little programming, and that might have looked like tobogganing through the winter, or outdoor little bonfires, or, it just looked like a lot of outdoor play, which I think in turn kind of created this environment of flexibility and environment of experiential learning, as opposed to maybe a drop-in surrounded by toys. It was outdoor art and outdoor water tables, and we're very lucky, our proximity to the beach, so that was a big part where we could still gather with community on a smaller scale, but outdoor just became our learning, which was really great.
And why do you think it's important for kids to share their experiences with the pandemic and learn how to tell stories about that?
I think I'm an educator myself, so I worked with children when I returned from my mat leave who had already gone through a year of it, and it was very, very evident how it had negatively impacted them, just the lack of social skills, or the loss of social skills, and regaining that learning, because it had sort of been lost, and they sort of have become a little bit more introverted. So I felt like addressing that and not just sort of skipping it over, and really honoring their feelings and giving them a voice, and their voice sort of maybe came through either their writing or in art particularly, which gave them a voice to say, you know what, I really don't want to wear my mask anymore, or I really just want to have my friends over to my house. There's so many feelings that come sort of outside of the education piece, but that impact greatly the education piece. They sort of go hand in hand, what their home life was like versus their school life. So Definitely, I think I've transferred some of that knowledge into my own motherhood as well. The learning that I've had in the classroom versus the learning that I've had as a mom, and just making sure that I acknowledge that, you know, Piper might have big feelings about something, and that might be a result of all these other pieces that are very layered and deep, even though she's only 3. It's been 3 years of a very different environment than I ever thought I would have, and it certainly has positives and negatives, but from a parent perspective, I definitely see how difficult it would be for young children, and I see it in my own child. She's been lucky to have good social skills, but they're still growing, and they're still maybe not where the potential that they could have been. So we'll see what happens when she gets to kindergarten.
Okay.